Hey guys, and welcome back to another Lost Bits video right here on TetraBitGaming, the series where we explore the unused, altered, and unseen content in gaming. Friday Night Funkin's version 0.5, or better known as the Destination 2 or Pico update, has recently dropped. And with it, we got a bunch of new Pico remixes, new backgrounds, as well as finally having Pico as a full playable character who can now be selected in this also new character select screen. Now, being a smaller update, I didn't think there'd be much to talk about here, but I actually came across a decent amount of things. So I figured, hey, maybe I don't have to make a 25-minute Lost Bits video for a change. Anyways, funk up that like button below, it's time to check out some more Friday Night Funkin' Lost Bits. Alright, so in addition to there being new background graphics for weeks 1, 2, 3, and 5, probably the biggest addition is a new character select screen, in which Pico is the first non-boyfriend character to be unlocked here, with seemingly 7 more slots to go. Well, what if I told you there is strong evidence that points to 2 characters which may be coming first here? So there are actually a few screenshot-looking mock-up images left over in the flash file assets for the character select screen, as well as for both the girlfriend's and Nene's appearances there. And although the one with boyfriend and girlfriend sees minimal differences from the final version of this screen, I think the boyfriend graphic just lacking a white outline when hovered over, this one with Pico and Nene has a bit more for us to chew on. And that's simply for the fact that instead of boyfriend in the middle, we have Daddy Dearest instead. And then just to his right, there's also Tankman, and this strongly suggests that these 2 fellas could be the next 2 playable characters that we'll see added to the game and this menu. Furthermore, these aren't just icons that are baked into this mockup either, as dedicated icon assets for them are also found amongst the rest of those for the character select menu as well. I guess it would make sense that these 2 would be added to the game next, since a lot of their assets are already made, so their inclusion should be a bit more streamlined compared to adding a brand new character. And then to add to this one, there's actually another mock-up image left in the game's assets, which appears to be from an even earlier point in development, as we can see early art of basically everything: the stage and speakers, audience, characters, and yeah, everything else. And interestingly, we can see the highlighting of this image in the file too, which makes it look like this is a screenshot from some software. Anyways, although not as supportive compared to the previous images, in this one we can also see icons for Skid and Pump, both of the girlfriend's parents together, as well as Senpai. But here it's less clear if these are actually in consideration for being playable characters, or if these icons were just slapped in here since they were readily available. And yeah, you might have also noticed that this conceptual sketch features a whopping 20 character slots, compared to less than half as much as is seen in the current character select menu in-game. Now this can of course change in the future, and the Kickstarter did reach a goal to add at least 10 more playable characters to the game. But the devs have also stated that implementing new characters with custom parts and voices for each track is a lot of work. So I guess we'll see. What I also like about this concept sketch is that in addition to these sketches looking cool as hell, it looks like a big background graphic was considered to have appeared behind the character selected, kind of like what's seen in some fighting game character select screens. And honestly, I think this would have been pretty cool. And finally for this sketch, although a staticky fella is seen in the game when hovering over a character that hasn't yet been unlocked, this sketch appears to reveal that the staticky fella would have been for choosing a random character instead, an option that's missing in the current build of the game, but that isn't all too surprising considering that there's, well, currently only 2 characters to choose from. Anyways, back to the future characters. In addition to the Tankman icon I mentioned previously, there's also actually a currently unused graphic for his name icon as well, and this only further supports that Tankman will be coming to the game in the hopefully near future. And speaking of the character name icons, there are actually some unused ones left over among the assets for the character select screen for both Boyfriend and Pico too. Pico's, although similar, is a bit different in using a slightly different shade of red, lacking an extension on the side of the P, as well as lacking any gaps in the P and O as are seen in the final version. And then for boyfriend, there's actually not one, but two alternate versions of the name icon. The first unused one features a more bubble letter looking font, and then the other one is incredibly basic, lacking any of the style that permeates the rest of the game. So I'm not too surprised that this one didn't go on to be used. Then after this, we have some unused sketches of both boyfriend and Pico as they're seen in the character select screen. Although very similar, we can see that these aren't quite as polished up as they have visible sketch lines, which I think look pretty cool to be honest. And speaking of sketches, there's also this one of girlfriend that's found amongst her assets for her appearance on the character select screen. It's again pretty similar to how she's seen in-game, but here she's sitting at a slight angle compared to straight on. Next, I went over the icons for the other characters earlier, but there's also an unused set for boyfriend in a regular drawn style instead of the pixel art that ended up being chosen for the character select screen. The expression animation for getting selected looks to be basically the same, but yeah, it looks like originally the icons may have been planned to be drawn like this instead of them being pixel icons. Now, I mentioned the staticky fella earlier, and although, like I said, it's currently only used for characters that aren't yet unlocked, the actual sprite sheet for its animations is titled Random Chill, again reinforcing the idea that this was intended for a random selection option. And furthermore, there are actually two other sprite sheets for this fella that seemingly go unused. One smaller one, and then one much larger one with many more sprites, and these both include outlines, light blue silhouettes which may have been used for masking or something, and then there's also some more face sprites for it here as well. And then lastly for the character selection screen, left unused in its assets is also this message, which looks to be the same font as what's seen at the top of the free play menu, so it's kinda strange that it's left in here with the character select screen stuff. And yeah, at this point, stuff like this doesn't surprise me anymore in this game, and I swear it's left in here only to be found by people digging into the files. Now that's about it for the character select screen, but we're not quite done yet with the unused graphics here. Next, although not actually unused itself since it can be seen in the background image for the free play menu, the full graphic actually contains girlfriend on her speaker that can't normally be seen. Then after this we have what looks to be a reference screenshot of a free play track simply titled Ref. What's also interesting here is that the Dad Battle song here is seen with a speed of 139 beats per minute instead of 180 or 190 as is seen in the game. And also, we can see a difficulty rating of 22, which is way higher than how this song, or basically all of the other songs, are rated. Then after this, we have several placeholder looking graphics left over in the game too. And which better one to start with than one that literally has album placeholder written on it. Now this one isn't fully unused as I was actually able to see it when switching between characters and going back to the free play menu on the random song option. But since it disappears when you move away from it and then back to it, I don't think this is intentional. Then after this, we have this little sprite just saying XDLOL, simply titled Stage Temp Image. And this is found amongst the assets for Stage Build, which I assume is the level debugging feature, but I couldn't see this used anywhere there. Then similarly, there are also several basic looking graphics for other cursors and stuff, including an eraser cursor, a scrolling one for adding text both vertically as well as horizontally, an hourglass one crossed out for, I guess, stuff that you couldn't click on, and then other non-cursor seemingly placeholder icons include a gray diamond titled Default, some art of a metronome titled BPM Change, art of a ball bouncing for apparently playing an animation, and lastly, one of a comically large camera focusing in right on the artwork of Boyfriend as he's seen in the secret Gitaru Man pause screen. I guess these last few are for editing a song with stuff like changing the tempo and which character the camera focuses on and stuff, but either way, I really dig the art for these. Now next up, there are actually a few currently unused animations for Pico left in the game. First, although a similar outline version of it is used when selecting Weekend 1 in the story mode menu, There are actually fully colored sprites for an animation of Pico flipping the bird, meant to be a hey pose similar to that of Boyfriend's. And similarly, there's actually an equivalent shadow version of it too, meant for the new erect versions of a few of the songs. And as of the making of this video, neither of these appear to be used anywhere. Then also for the shadow sprites of Pico, there's a similar animation meant to be an equivalent to Boyfriend's yeah pose that he hits in the Spookies track. But again, as of yet, this doesn't seem to be used there. And then last up for this video, although this doesn't appear to be anything new since it looks like it was first added over 2 years ago, but in the game's source code that was also recently updated, there's a folder titled Example Mods, and within it are a few instances of this icon, featuring evil Newgrounds, or old grounds I guess. And I thought this was pretty funny to find here. Anyways, that's about it for the Pico update here, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It's really cool to see this game getting updated semi-regularly again, and I hope the Funkin devs keep it up. Of course, if more unused stuff gets added or removed from the game, I'll be sure to cover it, so make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell to find your way back to the channel in the future. Till then, check out some of my other Lost Bits videos, and as always, thank you all so much for funkin' around today, and I will see you in a bit.